Greetings from St. Stephen's. It's Wednesday and the fifth week of Easter, and we're still in a quandary over should we reopen or not reopen society in face of the coronavirus pandemic. We have people who want to get back to work, who need to get back to work, who have to feed their families, who have to pay their rent and utilities. They've gone through their savings that they had in to begin with. They're running out of food. We see long lines at free food giveaways of people looking for food to eat. On the other hand, we have people who are very concerned about going back out into public again. People who are concerned about whether or not they're going to be exposed to the coronavirus. And they're saying maybe we should wait a while longer before we reopen. Maybe we should wait a while longer and see how the progress of the disease goes. Does it go up or down? How are we responding to it? And I don't know that there's an answer. I mean, each side thinks they're right. Maybe the correct position is somewhere in the middle that we're wrestling with and trying to find. I just know that this is a difficult question for many of us. And how do we respond, and how do we move forward in this period of transition and change, and something we've never confronted before. We're doing the same thing here at St. Stephen's. We're working on when do you think we can reopen? Under what conditions do you think we could reopen? Do we hold off a few more weeks? Do we hold off longer than that? When we go back to having services, how do we ease into it? Do we add a number of services to our list so that anybody who wants to can come to service, and yet we stay within the guidelines set upon us by the state for the number of people present? How will we work that out with folks? How will we be able to do communion? What about nursery for little children? What about Sunday school? All these questions we're wrestling with and dealing with. So as a matter of fact, every family or individual at St. Stephen's should have received a Survey Monkey by email or in the mail. If you didn't, call Vera in the office and we will make sure you get one. And we're hoping to have all those responses turned into us by the 18th of May, which is on Monday. So if you have one, haven't filled it out, we wish you would and send it back to us. If you didn't get one, then call Vera and we'll make sure we get one to you so you can fill out and hope you get back to us on Monday. That way we'll have a couple of days to kind of tabulate your responses, to see where the congregation is on all these issues, and to take them before the vestry when the vestry meets next Wednesday night. It will be the first item on the agenda that we need to deal with and figure out when we might reopen, what that reopening would look like, numbers of people involved, what would the liturgy look like, do we continue with virtual services as well? All these questions we're going to deal with. What about, do we have adequate supplies of hand sanitizer? Will we provide face masks for visitors or people who don't have one? What about people who feel very claustrophobic inside a face mask and maybe have real issues about wearing one? Does that mean we would have a service designed with face masks optional if they were required for the others? So there's just myriads and myriads of questions we have to work through and figure out how we're going to get back into church in the near future. Having said that, I would like to ask everybody to put this issue, if it's not already there, to put this issue on your prayer list. Let's intentionally ask God for guidance. Maybe more of you are doing that than I might suspect, but let's be very intentional about that guidance of the Spirit. Let's ask God to specifically say to us, this is the direction you need to be going. These are the things you need to be doing I think those answers will become clear to us as we move forward. But God has to be part of this whole decision-making process. And it's also realizing that whatever we do, we're going to be kind of tiptoeing into the wilderness, much as Moses and the Hebrew people did when they left Egypt. We're going to be venturing into something of an unknown area. We're going to be doing things differently, and some of these changes may become permanent. We don't know yet. So it's kind of uncharted waters, and we need some courage to go there. We need some direction, I think. But I think with God's leading and God's support and sometimes God's pushing, I think we'll get there, and we'll get there with success. I think that we will eventually be better off than we were. I hope we are. I think we will have a new understanding and an appreciation of what our relationship to God means, what our relationship to each other means, and how we live those relationships out in community that we call the church. I think we're at the point now where we're really missing each other. We're missing the opportunity to reach out and touch someone. That something simple as shaking hands, or as personal as giving someone a hug. Um, uh, we kind of want to do that, and yet to draw back and to say no is kind of counterintuitive to many of us. But we hope someday we'll get back to that point. But it may take a while. I think this has forced us to realize that we do care about each other more than we think. Since we don't have the opportunity to see each other on Sunday mornings, I think there's more communication going on between people with phone calls or emails or text messages back and forth. Just calling and saying, hi, I was thinking about you. I just, no particular reason, but just to say hi. I miss seeing you. Wish we could see you again soon. And we will. But we have to be patient. We have to go slow. We have to realize that not everybody's going to agree with the procedures we put into place. And I hope, please feel free to share your opinions with us one way or the other. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know if you're seeing something we're doing and you think maybe there's a better way we can do that. And if there is, we want to know about it. Now, we're being called, I think, to walk in faith. And yet that has been the call of all Christians since the beginning, is to walk in faith. And to walk in faith where God leads us. We start that walk at our baptism, if you will, but maybe even before that when we make the decision to be baptized. We promise to follow God and to walk in his pathways as best we can. And some are more successful than others, but that's okay. And we hope that we will do the best we can, and we'll trust that God will lead us down those right paths. That God will lead us to those places where we need to go. Not places of suffering, but places of fulfillment. To places where we discover new and better things about ourselves as individuals and maybe ourselves as St. Stephen's Parish. I ask you to join us and be part of this adventure, if you will, of coming back together. I think it'll be slow. It'll be baby steps. It'll be one little thing at a time. We may do a few things and stop and listen and see what's going on. We may do things and then stop and listen and see what the results are. I think as a country we're going to be reopening, but we're going to be listening and watching the results of that. Once we reopen restaurants and stores and things, are we going to see the incidence of infections go up? Are they going to stay the same? We don't know. But we have to be able to learn from that. We have to be nimble enough to respond to that. And technology is my cell phone ringing. I'll call them back. We have to have enough faith to believe and trust where God's going to take us. That's not always easy. It's not always easy for me. It's not always easy for anybody else. I don't know about you, but sometimes God says, Mike, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. I want you to go here, I want you to go there. And I'll say, God, we need to talk about that. And God very graciously says, you can talk about it all you want, but this is what I want you to do. So we're being led into a new place. I believe it will be better. I believe it will be of such that St. Stephen's will grow and continue to be a light that shines in the darkness for people. I believe God is calling us to light our candle and put it in the window and draw others to us. I believe that we are being called to be examples of what faithful living looks like, even in the midst of a pandemic. I believe we are being called to be a people who exhibit faith, and sometimes realizing that faith means stepping out and trust and hoping that God knows what he's doing and where he's leading us. I think that's going to be easy for some of us, hard for others. But we're in this together. So if it's kind of easy for you to do that, then maybe you need to turn around and offer a helping hand to someone who struggles with that. To maybe share some of your faith with them. To say, we're not sure where we're going, but God is leading us. And if God's leading us, can that be a bad place to go to? So as we prepare to return to church, it may be a slow process. It may be something of an involved process. It may involve sometimes some of us saying we never did it that way before, but we're going to do it that way now. It's going to involve listening to the whisperings of the Spirit, to heeding the nudgings of God, and to let Christ lead us into a new resurrection of what it means to be St. Stephen's Church. So join us, be part of this expedition forward, be part of this new pilgrimage in faith, be part of this new glorious attempt of being maybe something new, something better, something godlike, or at least reflecting the image of God in all that we do. So, fill out your surveys, send it back, ask questions, offer suggestions. We're open to anything that will make this process better. And before long, I hope to see you in the pews on Sunday morning. God bless you. Have a great day. Amen.